In the middle of a forest, two young girls are on the verge of being attacked by bandits when they are rescued by a towering knight in shining silver armor. With a single, powerful swipe of his sword, the knight slays the bandits. Just hours earlier, the knight had woken up at the base of a tree, confused about his situation. He soon realized he had been transported into the body of his in-game character, Ark, fully equipped with top-tier armor, weapons, and unmatched physical and magical abilities. Recalling that he had fallen asleep while playing the game, Ark tests his Wyvern Slash move, amazed by its incredible power. Next, Ark tries casting a fire spell, which incinerates a nearby tree. He's baffled by the fact that he can use magic, despite his class not typically having such abilities. After some thought, he concludes that he must have access to all the skills from the upgrade path of his main class, Holy Knight, making him extremely powerful. Feeling thirsty, Ark casts Dimension Move to teleport near a river. There, he removes his helmet, only to discover that his head is that of a skeleton. Realizing this could scare people and make him a target, Ark decides to keep his helmet on. He then teleports to a nearby town called Louvre. While wandering through Louvre, Ark comes across a woman arguing with an investigator. Fascinated, he's surprised to find out that she is an elf, but quickly loses sight of her. He then enters the mercenary guild to apply for membership. However, due to his impressive armor, the receptionist assumes he's already employed. Ark gives a convincing explanation, and the receptionist accepts his story, assigning him a trial task: to bring back proof of defeating a beast, monster, or bandit as a condition to receive his mercenary license. Ark heads into the forest and defeats a bull boar and an orc. While searching for another foe, he witnesses bandits attacking a coach. Initially, he hesitates to get involved, but when he sees two young girls about to be assaulted, he jumps into action and quickly dispatches the bandits. The girls turn out to be the noble Lauren Louvre and her maid, Rita. After the battle, Ark discreetly loots the bandits' belongings before safely escorting the girls back to town. With his task completed, Ark returns to the guild, obtains his mercenary license, and uses the money from the bandits to buy his first meal in this new world. He contemplates the possibility that he might be stuck here permanently, but decides to embrace the adventure of his new life. Meanwhile, a woman named Siona tirelessly works to provide for her two children, Marka and Helena, who help her in the fields each morning. Marka writes a job request for assistance, which Ark accepts. He arrives in Rada village and is directed to Siona's home by the gatekeeper. When he knocks, Marka answers the door and is surprised by Ark's imposing size. Ark introduces himself and explains that he's there in response to their job posting. After a friendly greeting, Marka offers Ark some tea and asks if they can start the job right away. Ark agrees, though he's curious about her urgency. Marka explains that her mother, Siona, has become overprotective since her father's death and wouldn't let her go alone. Marka wants to help her mother by collecting herbs, just as her father did, and Ark is touched by her determination. On their way, they come across an injured kitsune, which Ark heals using his magic. The creature, enchanted by Ark, decides to stay with him, and he names it Ponta because of its fluffy tail. Back in the village, a hunter reports seeing something strange in the forest. At the same time, Siona returns and learns from the gatekeeper that Marka went into the forest with a knight. While Marka guides Ark to a tree bearing valuable medicinal flowers, a giant basilisk suddenly appears. Ponta's agitated behavior alerts Ark to the fact that this basilisk is the one responsible for injuring the kitsune. As the basilisk lunges toward Marka, Ark quickly pulls her to safety and dodges its poisonous fog breath. Ark carefully studies the monster's movements, defending against its paralyzing claws and whip-like tongue. He then uses the Holy Shield to protect himself from its petrifying attack. Finally, Ark unleashes his devastating Judgment attack, slicing the basilisk in half and killing it. Marka is relieved and mentions that the villagers will celebrate the monster's death, but Ark, wishing to avoid attention, asks her to keep it a secret. She agrees. As they prepare to leave, Ark notices a ring around the basilisk's ankle, which vanishes upon its death. A fang boar suddenly appears, but Ark swiftly slays it and offers the meat to the village as a gift. Marka then reunites with her mother, who gives her a heartfelt hug, while Ark apologizes to Siona for taking her daughter into the forest without permission. Later, the village's hunter and gatekeeper approach Ark, asking if he encountered the monster terrorizing the forest. He denies it. As the sun sets, Ark and Ponta prepare to leave. Helena, Marka's sister, gives Ark a handmade flower crown as a token of gratitude. That night, soldiers in the forest stumble upon the corpse of another basilisk and find the much larger remains of the one Ark killed. They marvel at the fact that it was slain with a single massive strike and wonder who was responsible. Meanwhile, Ark relaxes in his room, enjoying his meal with Ponta, contemplating taking on a more difficult quest the next day. The next day, Ark takes on a new job to confront a group of bandits hiding in a forest cave. He successfully defeats them, claiming their treasure as loot. While in the cave, he notices some cages nearby but doesn't pay much attention to them at the time. Meanwhile, Lord Triton is enraged to learn that the bandits he hired failed to assassinate Princess Lauren, and that the monster he sent to destroy her kingdom was also defeated. Triton had been carrying out these acts under the orders of Prince Dacaris, who aimed to destabilize the kingdom in preparation for war. Triton is also furious that his son, Udalan, is risking their illegal captive operation in the forest. As Ark leaves the bandits' cave, a female elf suddenly attacks him. He recognizes her as the elf he had seen in the city earlier. She introduces herself as Ariani and accuses him of kidnapping elf children. However, upon seeing Ponta, a rare forest spirit creature, Ariane realizes that Ark couldn't possibly be involved, as spirit creatures rarely trust humans. She explains that the bandits were hunting elves, and the cages Ark saw were meant for them. Although Ark offers his assistance, Ariane declines and runs off. Despite this, Ark resolves to help her, viewing it as a special quest. Back at his inn, Ark enjoys a hearty meal and reflects on his encounter with Ariane, even though she never formally introduced herself. He hopes to cross paths with her again and decides to look for her the next day. Teleporting to a location near the elven forest, Ark and Ponta sense a presence nearby. They soon spot a young elven girl attempting to escape from a group of bandits led by Udalan, who taunts her before cruelly stabbing her leg. Before Ark can intervene, Ariane appears, swiftly taking down several bandits with precise, deadly attacks. One of the bandits recognizes her as a dark elf, a rare and valuable type, but Udalan shows little concern for her, leaving his men to handle the situation. Ariane dispatches the bandits with ease, but soon finds herself in trouble as Udalan grabs the elven girl, using her as a hostage. Seizing the opportunity, Ark appears behind Udalan, using his armor lariat attack to knock him out. With Udalan incapacitated, Ariane finishes off the remaining bandits and frees the captive elves. She notices they are wearing mana-draining collars, which suppress their ability to use spirit magic. Ark steps in, casting a sundering spell to break one of the collars, followed by a healing spell to mend the girl's wounds. Ariane is amazed by how effortlessly Ark casts such powerful magic with minimal effort. Ark continues to remove the other collars, freeing the rest of the elves. Ariane summons her spirit creature, a whispering owl, to send a message about the rescue. After a while, 2 cloaked elves arrive to take the former captives to safety. Ariane acknowledges Ark's remarkable skills and asks about his true identity, but Ark humbly assures her he's just an ordinary person. Just then, the whispering owl returns with a message revealing the location of the slavers' main headquarters in Diento. Ariane asks to hire Ark for his services, and he agrees. Together, they travel to Diento, where they meet Danka, an elf ally of Ariane's. Danka is initially suspicious of Ark, but is surprised to learn he can use teleportation magic and has earned both Ponta's and Ariane's trust. Their plan is to attack a slaver's warehouse later that night. Before the raid, Ark leaves to take care of some personal matters and enjoy a meal in private. While he's away, Ariane confides in Danka, expressing her frustration over how Ark had to save her during their last encounter. She compares herself to her accomplished sister, feeling inadequate by comparison. Meanwhile, Ark buys food for himself and Ponta, retreating to a quiet alley to eat without his helmet. As the group prepares to carry out their mission, a shadowy figure watches from a nearby rooftop. Inside the warehouse, Ark and the two elves find that all the captives have already been assassinated with expert precision. Ark can hardly contain his excitement when the assassin reveals herself to be a female ninja with cat ears. The ninja, trusting Ark after seeing Ponta, hands him important documents listing the names of nobles involved in the elf captive trade, along with the locations of other captives held by Lord Triton. However, she reveals that the elf captives weren't her main target. After the elves are freed, Danka becomes even more impressed with Ark's magical abilities and allows him and Ariani to pursue Lord Triton alone. From afar, the female ninja and her tall companion watch the group, hoping to meet Ark again someday. Ark and Ariani sneak into Triton's mansion, skillfully avoiding detection. Ark uses his wyvern slash to cut down the mansion's bell, causing a loud distraction that draws the guards away. Meanwhile, Triton has two elven women restrained in his room, planning to exploit them. Before he can proceed, he chastises Udalan for his recent failures. As they argue, Kelsika, one of Triton's servants, alerts him to the intruders. Ark and Ariani blast through the door, standing amidst the smoke and debris, declaring their intent to rescue the elves. Ariani quickly incapacitates Triton, while Ark intimidates Udalan. During the chaos, Ark stumbles upon a hidden room filled with riches. He considers telling Ariani, but she and the other elves are too focused on punishing Triton to pay attention, much to Ark's and Ponta's frustration. Just as the mansion guards arrive, Ariani ignites her sword with a fire spell, fending them off. She instructs the elves to regroup with Danka, and they make their escape. After checking on Ark, Ariani catches him looting the hidden room's treasure. Ark claims he's doing it to prevent the Diento family from rebuilding, and she believes him. As they leave, several bombs go off around the mansion, but Ark and Ariani teleport to safety. Despite the meager reward, Ariani invites Ark to accompany her to the Elven lands, where more captives are being held. Ark is hesitant, worrying that his appearance might cause issues. Ariani reassures him, promising to discuss his situation with the Elven elders. Ark confides in Ariani, revealing that he cannot remove his armor and fears how she might react if she saw his true face. Ariani vows not to harm him, and Ark shows her his skeletal form, explaining the curse he's under. Trusting him, Ariani believes the Elven elders might help him regain his original form. Meanwhile, in the capital city of Olav, King Carlin holds a meeting with his children, Princes Sect and Dakares, and Princess Yuriana. They discuss the fallout from Triton's illegal dealings with elf captives, which have violated a long-standing treaty. The situation has heightened tensions with neighboring nations, and King Carlin assigns Yuriana to travel to Limbalt to address the diplomatic crisis. As Ark and Ariani continue their journey through the forest, Ark accidentally falls down a small cliff while scouting ahead using Dimension Move. Near a stream, they decide to set up camp for the night. Later that evening, Ark asks Ariani how far they are from their destination, Latoa. She estimates they'll arrive within 2 nights. Hungry, Ariani waits while Ark hunts a boar. When he returns with the catch, he finds Ariani playing with Ponta. Amused, Ark joins in, which embarrasses Ariani. Back in Olav, Yuriana sips tea with her maid, Ferna. Yuriana expresses suspicion that her brother, Dakares, may be involved in the elf captive trade, and worries that Sect might confront him. Ferna speculates that either Sect or Yuriana could be next in line for the throne, but Yuriana advises caution, urging her to focus on negotiating with the elves in Limbalt instead of speculating about royal succession. Ark and Ariani arrive at Latoa, where Ark is introduced to Ariani's parents, Dylan and Glennis. Grateful for Ark's help in rescuing the elves, they express concern over the consequences of attacking Triton's palace. The next day, Dylan and Ariani leave to inform the elders in Maple about the trafficking ring, while Glennis tests Ark's combat skills in a sparring match. Glennis easily defeats him and teaches Ark that raw strength isn't everything in battle. Meanwhile, Ariane and Dylan attend the Elders' meeting, where they debate how to handle the humans' violation of the 400-year treaty that prohibits the enslavement of elves. To avoid war, they decide to continue rescuing captives in secret. Ariane is surprised to learn that her sister, Evian, who had always been against marriage, is getting married. Evian appears and playfully tackles Ariane, teasing her about her recent achievements. Back with Ark, after finishing his sparring match, he enjoys a relaxing bath with Ponta. Ariane returns home and prepares to take a bath, only to discover Ark is already in there, which causes her to act apprehensively. Afterwards, Dylan hires Ark to help Ariane hunt down the names listed on the trafficking contract, while also freeing any elves they encounter. He also shares information about a magic pool that might cure Ark's skeletal appearance, but warns that it's located near the territory of a dangerous dragon lord. Later, driven by curiosity about his condition, Ark tries a curse-breaking spell on himself. His right hand turns human, puzzling him about the curse, but the change is short-lived, and his hand reverts back to bone, confirming the lingering curse on his appearance. Ark and Ariane then travel to Olav to stop the slave-owning nobles. Along the way, they are warned by an innkeeper about haunted wolves attacking travelers. Meanwhile, Yuriana leaves Olav for Limbolt. Ariane contemplates hunting the wolves to obtain their tail fur as a special wedding gift for her sister. As expected, the wolves attack, and Ark realizes that the pack leader is wearing a magical ring similar to the one worn by the basilisk. By breaking the ring's power, Ark frees the pack leader from its trance, and the wolves retreat without harm. Ark believes these enchanted rings are responsible for the unusual behavior of monsters. While Ariane works on processing the wolves' fur, Ponta senses trouble. They find Yuriana's coach attacked, and Yuriana, her maid Ferna, and several guards have been slain by traitors. Ark fights back, using his invulnerable armor and getting help from the wolves. He casts a rejuvenation spell to revive Yuriana and some of the guards before quietly leaving. Yuriana, half-conscious, thinks Ark is an angel. Ark, uncertain about the morality of the spell, keeps it a secret from Ariane. In Olav, Ark and Ariane witness a remarkable sight. A young woman with cat-like ears fighting thugs with expert skill. Ark recognizes her as the cat-eared ninja, Chiom. She introduces herself as part of the Jinshin clan, searching for enslaved members of her group. Chiom is intrigued by Ark's knowledge of ninjas, and Ark realizes that the term was created by a human named Hanzo, who founded a ninja clan long ago. Chiom asks for their help, and Ariane agrees. Dakaris, upset that the haunted wolves failed to kill Yuriana, suspects a revenge plot against him. His subordinate, Setrin, sends him to a safe house. Chiom asks Ark and Ariane to create a distraction at the Etzat captive market, so she and her fellow ninjas can infiltrate other markets. Ark conceals his armor under a cloak and tribal mask, while Chiom introduces Gomen, another ninja, to Ark. The two, both powerful and tall, instinctively challenge each other, but quickly become friends. They attack the market guards from the front entrance, trying to outdo each other, but their competitiveness leads to a mishap where they are buried under falling rocks. Meanwhile, Ariane and Chiom prepare to attack the market from the rear. After learning about the attack, Dakares sends soldiers to protect the captive markets. Ariane and Chiom begin freeing the captives while taking down the guards. Gomen asks Ark to join Ariane and Chiom while he holds off the reinforcements. Inside one cell, they find dead captives left to die because they were considered unsellable due to age, injuries, or illness. Ark teleports the surviving captives to safety and then reunites with Gomen to defeat the remaining soldiers and completely destroy the market. After the destruction, Ark and Gomen gather the bodies of the dead captives for a proper funeral. Chiom vows to improve her skills to save more people in the future. Meanwhile, Setrin kills Dakaris, revealing he was secretly working for Sect all along. Sect frames Dakares for Yuriana's murder, making him the sole heir to the throne of Rodin. Yuriana, now in Limbolt, learns of Dakares' death from Syriana and suspects that Sect may have plotted her murder as well, so she decides to keep her survival a secret for now. Chiom confides in Ariani that Dakares was associated with the Holy Revlon Empire and had sent many elf captives to them. Ariani and Ark agree to travel there immediately. In the capital city of the Holy Revlon Empire, Emperor Domitianus is impressed with Sect's actions in eliminating both Dakares and Uriana. However, he's surprised to learn that the controlling rings used on the wolves and basilisks have been destroyed. His subordinate confirms that Fumba, an agent of the Empire, continues working to destabilize Rodan. Fumba, observing from the desert beyond Rodan, smirks as he watches worm-like monsters emerging from the sand and devouring flying wyverns. After a thrilling encounter with a group of wyverns, a spell cast by Arian fails, and just as a sandworm attacks, Ark saves her in the nick of time. Arian retreats to safety with Karsi's companion, while Ark uses his incredible strength to pull the sandworm out of the ground and slam it down, rendering it unconscious. The magical ring attached to the creature disappears. Later, the sandworm is tied up and brought back to town, where Karsi rewards Ark and Arian for their efforts. Curious about Karsi's choice to live among humans, Arian asks him why he doesn't live with his own kind. Karsi explains that he once hated humans, but grew to love them after witnessing a love story between a human lord and an elf woman. The lord had rescued the elf, and they eventually married, which changed Karsi's perspective. This story gives Arian hope for peaceful coexistence between humans and elves. Meanwhile, Fumba is revealed to be responsible for feeding captives and kidnapped villagers to monsters, including sandworms, as part of Emperor Domitianus's orders. While indulging in this horrifying practice, Fumba shows no remorse, even feeding one of his captives to a monster, sickening one of his subordinates who witnesses the act. Ark, Arian, and Ponta arrive at the border town of Kasik, where they split up to investigate the disappearance of captured elves. Ark discovers that strange cries have been heard at night from a nearby fortress, and that townspeople have been mysteriously disappearing. Reuniting with Arian, he hears a woman scream and finds her being confronted by 3 men in an alley. These kidnappers are collecting victims for Fumba's controlled monsters. Ark rescues the woman, and when Arian arrives, her eerie demeanor scares the lady into running away. Later, the failed kidnappers meet a gruesome fate, becoming food for Fumba's giant white tiger monster. Arian learns that the captured elves were brought to the fortress 4 months ago and insists on investigating. Sneaking into the fortress, they find a secret passage leading to an underground chamber where they confront Fumba. Suddenly, Arian attacks Ark, seemingly under Fumba's control. She knocks Ark down, and Fumba orders her to finish him off. As Arian continues to attack, Ark tries to break the curse controlling her, but it's unsuccessful. Then, noticing something hidden in Arian's hood, Ark asks Ponta for help. Ponta reveals a bewitching imp hiding there, and Ark swiftly eliminates it with a fireball. Fumba, impressed with Ark's discovery, reveals that he is a Rosambanian monster sorcerer and that the rings Ark has been encountering are part of his arsenal to control monsters. Fumba summons his white tiger monster to deal with Ark. Ark places Arian at a safe distance and questions Fumba about the captured elves. Fumba coldly reveals that most of the elves were used in the Empire's cruel magical experiments, while the remaining ones were fed to his monsters. In a fit of anger, Ark swiftly decapitates the white tiger. Fumba then commands his remaining controlled monsters to attack, but Ark proves more than capable of slaying them all. However, just as Ark finishes off the last of the monsters, an orc attempts to attack the unconscious Arian. Chiom suddenly appears, using her water ninjutsu to imprison the orc, revealing that her fellow Jinshin ninjas have already dealt with Fumba's other monsters. Just then, the ground starts shaking, and Fumba flees, warning them that his greatest monster has awakened. Ark teleports everyone outside, where they find themselves facing a fearsome 5-headed hydra. The hydra attacks Ark, Arian, and Chiom with its fiery breath. Fumba assumes they have been defeated and commands the hydra to destroy Kasich and devour its inhabitants. In a flashback, Fumba's past is revealed. His clan elders had considered him weak and undisciplined, which led him to leave his clan and serve Emperor Domitianus. Ark, however, uses his holy shield to protect everyone from the Hydra's flames. Arion, now free from Fumba's influence, remembers Fumba's words about the fate of the elves and vows to bring him down. They split up. Arion and Chiom chase after Fumba, while Ark stays behind to battle the Hydra. As the Hydra approaches Kasich, the city guards sound the alarm, preparing for a last-ditch defense. Ark confronts the Hydra head-on, using his Wyvern Slash, Shield Bash, and Armor Laureate to catch its attention. Fumba watches in astonishment as Ark evades the Hydra's flames with his Dimension move, only to be caught by one of its heads. Despite being trapped, Ark uses his magic to destroy the head that has ensnared him. Using his Judgment skill, he manages to decapitate 3 of the Hydra's heads, but they quickly regenerate. Ark teleports to safety and summons Ifrit, a powerful ally, to fight alongside him. Meanwhile, Ponta leads Arion and Chiom to confront Fumba. Fumba attempts to possess Arion again, but this time she swiftly kills the monster he sends after her. Chiom then reveals a Spellcrest seal on Fumba's back, which grants him control over the monsters. Despite Fumba's warnings that the Hydra is now uncontrollable and poses a threat to everyone in Kasich, Arion remains confident in Ark's ability to defeat it. She incinerates Fumba with her flame sword. Together, Ark and Ifrit manage to defeat the Hydra, slamming it to the ground and incinerating it with Ifrit's Flame Hellion spell, leaving no trace of the beast. After the battle, Ark reunites with Arion and Chiom. Meanwhile, Princess Yuriana meets with Elven elders, Dylan, and Lord Fangus. They agree that the Rodan Kingdom will take responsibility for the crimes committed against the elves and will defend Elven territories in return for the elves' support of Yuriana's bid for succession to the Rodan throne. Hearing this news through Dankar's whispering fowl, Arion feels uneasy, uncertain about the future. Ark reassures Arion that peace between humans and elves is possible. Meanwhile, Sect is troubled by Yuriana's survival and her successful negotiation with the elves. Yuriana contemplates her own destiny after her miraculous revival, while Emperor Domitianus learns of Fumba's and his monster's destruction. Chiom finally sees Ark's face without his helmet, a significant moment for her. Ark decides to continue his travels alongside his friends, with hope for the future.